for second reading. From the international scene, Israel's military says it detected suspects in several areas in southern Lebanon, calling these a violation of a ceasefire with Hezbollah. Details of these are not coming your way soon. To stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. President Bola Tinubu affirmed Nigeria's strong commitment to enhancing cooperation in key sectors such as food security, energy, solid minerals, education and defense during a high-profile meeting with President Emmanuel Macron at the prestigious Palais de l'Élysée on Thursday. At a joint press conference, President Tinubu highlighted the vast yet largely untapped potential within Nigeria's agricultural sector and beckoned international investors could capitalize on the nation's welcoming investment climate. He emphasized Nigeria's flourishing financial sector as a facilitator for foreign investment, particularly some from French entrepreneurs, as part of the drive to boost food security. President Tinubu noted that Nigeria, like most African nations, have been preoccupied with tackling issues of food security. President Macron acknowledged President Tinubu's state visit as a milestone heralding deeper bilateral relationship, particularly emphasizing collaborative growth in creative industries and youth-focused initiatives. The French president noted that the global humanitarian challenges could only be solved with government working together.
Fond memory of the welcome I received during my visit to Nigeria in July 2018. As you know, this was not really the first time I had been to your country, where I'd had the good chance to stay about 20 years ago. For the past 10 years, our relationship has taken on a new and unique dimension. I would particularly like to pay tribute to the strength of our economic ties, as we have just left the Franco-Nigerian Business Council, and tomorrow, with your ministers, there will be an important business forum.
The Nigerian Senate has passed for a second reading the four controversial tax reform bills introduced by President Bola Tinubu aimed at reforming Nigeria's administration. The proposed legislation seeks to harmonize, coordinate and resolve disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria. Correspondent Kolojo sent in this report.
The proposed legislation seeks to harmonize, coordinate and resolve disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria. Leading the debate on the bill, Bamidele Opeyemi, Senate leader, explained that the bills aim to simplify and streamline tax administration, reduce burden on Nigerians, especially low-income earners.
These bills aim to simplify the tax landscape, reduce the burden on small business and streamline how taxes are collected. In broad terms, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the four bills seek to ensure uniformity in tax revenue administration in Nigeria in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution.
Contributing to the debate, Senator Ali Ndume argued that the bills should be withdrawn for proper consultation due to controversial clauses on revenue sharing formula, VAT derivation, and what he termed as poor timing for the introduction of the bills.
Mr. President, the third problem I mentioned, if the people, through the governors, and then the NEC and the traditional rulers say that the bill should be withdrawn, make some necessary amendments, and then bring it back and we can pass it in 24 hours.
Meanwhile, the majority of lawmakers who spoke in favor of the bill for second reading stated that what the bill entails is good for the country.
That changed, Mr. President. The moment oil was discovered in the creeks of the Niger Delta, 1957-58, Nigeria found free money in the creeks of the Niger Delta, and we left taxation, just as we left agriculture and manufacturing. So that's where we are.
Distinguished colleagues, we have since yesterday exhaustively examined all the aspects of this tax reform bill, and in line with our legislative procedure in making laws, agreed earlier today that these bills be passed for a second reading.
Bill as it is proposed, I am particularly on the issue of reducing the tax burden on Nigerians, removing VAT on food, medicals, education, pharmaceuticals, and electricity were exempted from VAT. So this bill is noble, it's for people because it's trying to reduce the tax burden on Nigerians.
However, the Red Chamber passed the 4 tax bills for second reading through voice vote.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to repeal certain acts on taxation and consolidate the legal frameworks relating to taxation and enact the Nigeria Tax Act to provide for taxation of income, transactions, and instruments, and for related matters 2024, second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues.
In another development, the Senate paid glowing tributes to celebrate the lives and times of its former president, late Dr. Joseph Wires. Senators spoke of his sterling qualities and unblemished national service during a valedictory session in his honor organized by the Senate. The remains of late Wires were laid inside the foyer of the National Assembly, adorned with the national flag. The Senate's tribute underscores its respect for Wires' contributions to Nigeria's democracy and governance.
Now, to the great chambers, the House of Representatives held a closed-door session to deliberate on the 4 tax reform bills proposed by President Bola Tinubu on September 3, 2024. The President submitted 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly based on recommendation from the Taiwo Oyedele-led Tax Reform Committee. The bills include Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, establishing a fiscal framework for taxation in the country, Tax Administration Bill, providing a clear legal framework for all taxes and reducing dispute, Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, repealing the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act to establish the Nigeria Revenue Service, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill, creating a tax tribunal and a tax ombudsman. After the session, Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who presided over plenary, announced that discussions on the bill would continue until Tuesday next week. He stated that the House plans to hold a special session next week to invite resource persons for further engagement. The goal, he explained, is to ensure the tax reform bills are thoroughly reviewed and well documented before a decision is made.
We promised the House on these tax bills. And the agreement that we had in that section was to continue our conversation. So this conversation is going to continue on Tuesday, from now to Tuesday, when we will have a special section where we'll invite these resource persons to be here in the House to engage us. Thereafter, we decide which way to go. This is to be able to make sure that it is well documented that we did our consultation in the form of executive session, and we are continuing that conversation till next week, Tuesday.
And still with the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives has confirmed Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede as the 24th Chief of Army Staff. The Lower Legislative Chamber confirmed Oluyede after a report was presented by Babajimi Benson, Chairman of the Committee on Defense. The House of Representatives Joint Committee on Army and Defense had screened Oluyede on Wednesday.
On the 26th of November 2024, the Parliament graciously appointed on the screen the acting service chief. We did that yesterday. We reviewed his CV. We questioned him on various issues, which included interagency synergy, civilian-military relationships. Our observation, sir, is that General Olatubosun Oluyode is fit and proper and gave a very good account of himself.
Confirmation screening for acting chief of army staff, and approved the only recommendation therein that Lieutenant General Olatubosun Oluyode be confirmed as the chief of army staff of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The House of Representatives has passed the second reading of the bill to establish the National Commission for Technology Transfer, Acquisition and Promotion to monitor the inflow of foreign product and technology into Nigeria. Sponsor of the bill, Clement Jimbo, stated that the bill aims to create jobs, process raw materials into finished goods, increase GDP and facilitate technology transfer. Addressing journalists after the plenary, Jimbo emphasized its focus in adding values to Nigeria's solid mineral exploration, particularly lithium, a key component in battery production. Jimbo highlighted that over 200 million cell phones, 500,000 solar systems, and millions of cars, laptops, and other electronic devices are in use in Nigeria or requiring batteries made with solid minerals. He urged speedy passage of the bill, noting that it has no financial implication and will improve Nigeria's quality of life.
The bill, no tap is repealed to establish this. So it's just that this bill has strengthened NOTAP to have more responsibilities vis-a-vis of actively reducing the unemployment rate, increasing our GDP, and the transfer of real technology, not just monitoring the inflow of technology from the developed nation to our nation.
You're still onto the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. EFCC fails to produce Yahya Bello before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Thursday. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. The House of Representatives recently rejected a bill seeking to entrench a 6-year single tenure for presidents and governors in the country, and that move has become topical among Nigerians. Though not satisfied with the current duration of governance of the executive, the citizens see the move for a single term as a distraction from the current hard economic realities everyone is going through. Correspondent in Abuja, Ken Abuchi, in this report examines the advantages and disadvantages of the move. The report.
A bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution to create a single term of 6 years for the office of President and State Governors failed in the House of Representatives, as the sponsors of the bill could not gather more to support it through the legislative process. The bill, sponsored by Honorable Ikenga Ugochinyere, sought to recognize the division of Nigeria into the 6 geopolitical zones and provide for the rotation of the office of President, State Governor and Chairman of local government councils among the inherent regions and zones. The bill also sought to make it possible for all elections in the country to be held on a single day. When the bill, which was scheduled for second reading, was put to vote, the majority of the lawmakers voted against it, killing the aspirations of the motion movers.
I rise to move that a bill for an act to alter the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to provide for a single term of 6 years for the office of President and State Governors, provide for the rotation of offices of President and State Governors and Chairman of Local Government Council among the inherent regions and zones, and to provide that all elections be held on a single day to be read for a second time. I so move.
Those against you say nay. The nays have it.
Nigerians' reactions, though divided, want the legislators to do more on economic bills and motions instead of wasting time on the length of tenures of the administrations.
Depending on the perspective you are looking at it from, at some point you may want to consider it that it's a good one, because it will give us an opportunity for a president or a governor to have a 6-year straight plan and be able to design programs and projects that will be for the benefits of the masses at its fresh. But the circumstances within which it came is what I feel, in my own view, that led to the decline, because we are just a year and few months into this current administration.
I don't think the bill is our major problem. Even if the major problem is not how long you stay in the office before you will be able to change things. You can change something within the 4 years. You can change something within that distance. But to be frank, if we'll be able to get it in a single term within that 6 years, then after that one you go. Then you pave way for another people to take over and have a new idea of administration.
I think it's a good decision for Nigeria, in the sense that it's better they just come and waste the 6 years than to come and spend extra 2 years, because it's now a norm, it's now a law that after you have spent 4 good years without achieving anything, you still come back for the election and spend another 4 years, 8 years. But if they do it 6 years, and they will just come and waste the time, and they know they're not coming back again.
The 10th Assembly's rejection of the tenure bill is not the first time such a bill is rejected. In 2019, the bill, which was then sponsored by John Dieg from Benue State, also failed to progress to the second reading. Dieg's bill had also considered a 6-year term for members of the National Assembly and State House of Assembly, painting necessary pictures for members of the National Assembly to gain more experience in 6 years instead of 4. According to him, re-election for the president and governors cost 3 times more than the first election and is characterized by violence. A situation Nigerians argued again is not a problem of the 21st century. They believe homegrown democracy is more acceptable than a white goose chase oftentimes embarked upon by the legislature.
To have a desired development for Nigeria, I want to use this opportunity to say Nigeria needs an homegrown democracy. We have our peculiarity. If you talk of keke napep, for instance, now, if you go to India, you see them using keke napep as their major vehicle. And they have the population. So nothing stops us from developing what we can use.
Them at the National Assembly knows what they are doing. They are just turning us. If not, we don't need, the bill is not, they should look for economic problem to the country, not the bill of how long the president will be in the country. It's not the cause. A president who wants to do something, I cannot change something within 4 years. Even if you put the president, give him 10 years, he will not still do it.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had also proposed a further Amendment of the 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022 to accommodate a single-year, single-term for a president for each of the 6 geopolitical zones. He added that the law must mandate electronic voting and collation of results, compel the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to verify the credentials of candidates, amongst others. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, also in June this year, backed the call for a single term for elected politicians. Well, whether good or bad, single or multiple tenures, all Nigerians want is any administration that can build the country's dilapidated infrastructure, reflate the already dying economy, secure the country, create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, as well as more jobs for the teeming Nigerian graduates who are churned out from tertiary institutions without any job to do. When all this are provided, no doubt the issues of tenure will be a thing of the past.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Thursday failed to produce the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja. Recall that the anti-graft agency had on Wednesday arraigned Bello and 2 others at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory before Justice Megan Anene, who ruled that the accused persons be remanded in EFCC custody till December 10, 2024. Correspondent Kolojo reports that Bello is scheduled to take his plea before Justice Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Thursday. Security operatives from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had been deployed within and around the court as early as 7 a.m. for the planned arrival of the former governor. The development led to thorough screening of lawyers and other individuals that have activities in the court. It was later gathered that Bello could not appear in court due to unforeseen circumstances. Our correspondents gathered that the development might not be unconnected with the inability of the prosecution team to serve necessary documents ahead of the appearance of the former governor in court. It was learned that Yaya Bello is likely to appear before Justice Emeka Nwite on Friday. In continuation of hearing of the fraud allegations against the former governor of Central Bank Godwin Emefiele by Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), the 7th witness, John Adetola, confirmed the witness document which showed that he collected several hundreds of thousands of cash in dollars on behalf of his boss. John Adetola was an executive assistant to the former governor of Central Bank, in charge of correspondence and receiving of visitors, and was one of the personal executive assistants of Godwin Emefiele, whom he brought from Zenith Bank to the nation's Apex Bank. John Adetola, PW7, said he collected money in foreign currency for Godwin Emefiele and other companies linked to Emefiele, especially on an occasion where he collected $400,000 from John Ayu from the IT department of CBN, which he delivered directly to the former CBN governor. The cross-examination of the witness could not hold because of the prolonged battle of wit between counsels on the application for admission of witness document for PW7, which the first offended counsel, Olalekan Ojo-san, objected that cannot be admitted as evidence in the case. The document was, however, admitted as identification by Justice Rahman Oshodi, and the case was adjourned to December 10th for further presentation of witnesses and cross-examination of PW7. Members of Nigerian Bar Association are demanding justice over assassination of barrister Mark Ofiku at his residence last week, Thursday, in Utukpo town, in Utukpo local government area of Benue State. In a peaceful protest held from the State High Court to the State Command of the Nigerian Police Force in Makodi on Thursday, the chairman and members of Makodi branch of the Nigerian Bar Association are calling on the police to conduct a discreet investigation to fish out the killers. Tena Yaji Esquire, chairman MBA Makodi branch, will lead members to meet with the State Police Commissioner CP Stephen Yabanet, who was represented by the command image maker SP Catherine Nanene, and encourage the police to step up investigation and make it a one-off affair to avoid future occurrences. The command public relations officer will condole with the MBA, thank them for the peaceful protest, assuring that the police will leave no stone unturned in bringing the perpetrators to justice.
The Federal High Court the National Industrial Court and some other specialized courts in Benue State have not sat for today. And all of us here have boycotted the courts for today. So it is not a one-time investigation that the police should just carry out as a normal investigation. It has happened to us before. It has happened to us again. We do not want it to happen to us again.
Nothing happened. Barrister Peter Betuva was shot dead. Nothing happened. Then this. So we felt duty bound to send a message to the police. And this time around, we will not allow this kind of thing to happen.
But if I speak on behalf of the Commissioner of Police. First, I begin by condoling the MBA. Death to MBA is death to the police. We are together. If not for anything, for the criminal justice system.
The acting chief of army staff, Olufemi Oluyede, has reaffirmed the army's commitment to collaborating with communities across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country in order to promote infrastructural development and support their area of needs. Oluyede spoke during the commissioning of the remodeled and renovated Olugbo Primary Healthcare Center and staff quarters in Olugbo, Delta local government area of Ogun State. Oluyede, who was represented by the Corps of Electrical and Mechanical Engineer, Major General Baba Omar Yaya, emphasized that the project's goal is to support government effort and those of other well-meaning individuals and not to compete or subdue its responsibilities. On his part, Major General Adekunle Adeyinka disclosed that the restored facility would effectively provide primary health care service to over 62 communities and more than 8,000 persons. Also speaking, the State House Assembly Speaker, Oludaisi Elemide, commended Major General Adeyinka for not denying his local government but giving back to the community. He lamented that many people shy away and deny being a member of the local government.
The Nigerian Army has been conducting kinetic and non-kinetic operations in the discharge of its constitutional responsibilities. The conduct of non-kinetic operations is paramount to the Nigerian Army in order to gain the necessary support from citizens towards combating insecurity in our dear country. The Nigerian Army recognizes that our nation's security and progress depends on the synergy and cooperation of all stakeholders towards national building.
This facility will free the impacted communities, especially the pregnant women and children, from the rigors of traveling over 40 kilometers to the nearest government medical care centers. I therefore wish to urge the people of Olugbo community to take good advantage of this opportunity and also ensure that it is adequately protected and maintained.
We want to appreciate the military hierarchy from the chief of army staff down the ladder, because if you had said you wanted to do it and the military is obeys the last order, if there is no cooperation, this thing may not be here. So all the military, you have become my constituency as from today.
As the youth season draws nearer, the Assistant Inspector General of Police under the Force Criminal Investigation Department, Kaduna Annex, Ibrahim Zango, has charged all officers and men under his command to intensify efforts in clamping down on fraudsters within the jurisdiction. The Assistant Inspector General of Police gave the marching order in line with the directive from the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetopo, whose main priority is the sanitization and creation of a crime-free state. He said with strong synergy with sister agencies, the Kaduna State Police Command and the Force Criminal Investigation Department have achieved remarkable results in curbing criminality in the state while reiterating the core mandate of the police force. The Assistant Inspector General of Police also uses the medium to appeal to residents to keep faith in the police force and, more importantly, abide by civil responsibilities, as the creation of a better state lies in the hand of all and sundry through the eradication of corruption.
We investigate fraud cases. The public should be law-abiding citizens. One of the vision and mission of the Inspector General of Police, zero tolerance for corruption. Anybody caught will be investigated and charged to court. My message for the Nigerians, they should not lose hope in the police.
AIG Ibrahim Sanga further charged his officers and men to defend the core values of the force as exemplaries and law enforcement agents.
I'm advising my policemen that there should be zero tolerance for corruption.
Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde has reiterated this administration's commitment to collaborate and give all needed support to security agencies in the state in order to continue to maintain law and order. Governor Makinde stated this when he received the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, who paid him a courtesy visit in his office. Makinde acknowledged the impact of NSCDC Oyo State Command in maintaining peace and stability in the state, noting that the efforts of the NSCDC Oyo State Command have made the state one of the safest in the country. While speaking about the security challenges facing the country, Governor Makinde appreciated the effort of security agencies in the country for doing more with less support. He, however, promised to donate 2 operational vehicles to the state command for seamless operation. Earlier in his remarks, the Commandant General of NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, lauded various security initiatives in the state, noting that Oyo State is now a state of significant change under Governor Seyi Makinde.
At the political level, at the political leadership level, for us, we have to keep asking you to do more. So we're asking you to do more, even with less. I want to give a commitment of Oyo State government that we will also continue to do our own part to ensure that our officers and men that are toiling day and night, they don't see it as an hardship posting at least.
But I want to say that it has not been easy. But so far so good. The Corps has been faring very well, despite some of the challenges that we face. From loss of personnel, and then from lack of equipment. We will continue to give our best to make sure that the provision of security and safety for the nation is guaranteed.
Delta State Governor Sharif Oborowori has appealed to youth of Ndokwa Nation to embrace dialogue rather than confrontation that will bridge the relative peace in the state. Governor Sharif made this known at Government House in Asaba when he received leaders of the Ndokwa Nation on the crisis between his youth and oil multinationals over employment and other issues. The governor promised to do everything within his powers to resolve the impending crisis as he reiterates the call for peace. Responding, the head of delegation and retired military officer, Brigadier General Mark Kondubisi, said that the youth may take laws into their hands except the government called the oil multinationals to order.
I also believe that I believe in dialogue is the best way to go than confrontation. I will appeal to you to tell your youth not to take laws into their hands. The leadership of your people can engage them. There's no way you will write to them that you want to meet with them. They will not listen. There's no way.
It is good to bring this repulsive, reckless, and lackadaisical attitude of the company group to your notice, as our youths are angry and may react unpredictably in a manner that we may not be able to control. Your Excellency, kindly use the instrumentality of the office to force the company to act appropriately. The signs are ominous and crisis.
The Minister for Education, Dr. Maruf Olatunji Alausa, has outlined a new strategy focused on advancing science, technology, engineering and mathematical STEM, technical and vocational education and training TVET, and enhancing the overall quality of learning in the country. The minister stated this in Abuja while declaring open the Stakeholders Consultative Dialogue on Education Sector Renewal Initiative 2024-27. Correspondent Kulewojo completes the story.
Dr. Lausa said his strategic goal include reducing the number of out-of-school children, addressing learning poverty, and enhancing skills development and human capital for labor markets. The minister restated the ministry's commitment to providing quality education in line with the global standards and the Sustainable Development Goals, noting that achieving this required collaboration with development partners, stakeholders, and the private sector. He also emphasized the integration of out-of-school children and almajiris into formal education alongside initiatives such as conditional cash transfers, school feeding program, and social and behavioral change communication for the education of girls and vulnerable populations. Allows also stressed the importance of strengthening governance and management in the education sector, which involves organizational reforms of relevant institutions, enhanced oversight of programs, and subnational implementation. Also in a welcome address, the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Suwaiba, acknowledged challenges facing the Nigerian education sector, including infrastructural issues, inadequate funding, poor teacher development, and the out-of-school children crisis.
Big part of this quality assurance. We will ensure quality assurance in everything we do in our school. And that, as part of that, we will reprofessionalize teaching by really using UBEC tech fund as well. A lot of the things, UBEC, a lot of the way the guidelines have been put, a lot of money is going into infrastructure development. But it's not about building school. Our teachers matters. We really need to give them the skill set they need, the re-education they need, the materials they need.
While we develop a unified strategy to address these challenges bedeviling the education sector, as we all know, the education sector is faced with numerous challenges, as we are aware. Infrastructural decay and deficit, funding issues, unreliable data hindering effective planning, poor capacity development for teachers, problem of out of school. We have one of the highest number of out of school children in the nation, in the country.
Additionally, they announced plans to build a robust data architecture and strengthen the educational management information system to improve decision-making and accountability across the sector. On their part, some of the development partners declared their readiness to continue to support the education sector in terms of funding and provision of infrastructure.
Our support consists of both financing operations but also technical assistance and what we normally call working with you in the kitchen, in your own kitchen. The reason I say that is because whether we like it or not, we want to help you. We want to help you find solutions but also support you implement those solutions.
We're connected with all the levels from basic education to tertiary, including the regional education that the EU support. So I don't want to repeat what my colleagues have said, but we support other implementing partners like UNICEF if we have or know where a development partner has an expertise, for instance, the data repository of the DONS agenda.
To this collective platform that we form with the partners to support you. Honorable Minister, as you say, UNESCO, your organization is the UN lead mandated agencies for the monitoring of the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 for education.
The meeting had in attendance representatives from the United Nations Children's Fund, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, and the World Bank Group, as well as the European Union, among others. From Abuja, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
Now we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to the foreign news. Israel's military said on Thursday it had detected suspects in several areas in southern Lebanon, calling this a violation of a ceasefire with Hezbollah. On Thursday morning, Israeli tank fire hit 6 areas within the border strip, state media said. The round struck Markaba, Wazani and Fachauba, Kiam, Taibeh and agricultural plains around Marjon, all of which lie within 2 kilometers of the blue line demarcating the border between Lebanon and Israel. The ceasefire was scheduled to take effect from 4 a.m. local time on Wednesday. It involved a 60-day transition as Israeli troops and Hezbollah soldiers both leave the area north of the Israeli border and south of the Litani River, followed by a permanent end to hostilities, including ground clashes, air attacks and a rebuilding of Hezbollah infrastructure. The agreement held for its second day before the alleged breach. Hezbollah MP Hassan Fadlallah accused Israel of attacking people returning to their villages in South Lebanon. Lebanese families displaced from their homes near the southern border have tried to return to check on their properties, but the Israeli troops remain stationed within Lebanese territory in towns along the border. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he had instructed the military not to allow residents back to villages near the border. Lebanon Speaker of Parliament Nabi Berri, the top interlocutor for Lebanon in negotiating the deal, had said that residents could return home on Wednesday. Russian authorities returned 9 Ukrainian children to their families with the help of Qatari mediators, the state-run media showed, coming a day after Ukraine handed over 2 children to their families in Russia. Maria Vova-Belova, Russia's presidential children's rights commissioner, said that 8 of the returned Ukrainian children had been living with relatives in Russia. One 16-year-old was brought from the Aloshikny orphanage in Russian-occupied Kherson after his brother successfully applied for legal guardianship, according to the newsman. On Wednesday, footage from the Qatari embassy in Moscow showed a Russian father describing the long period of uncertainty he endured following the death of his son's mother in Ukraine. "Of course, I would have liked the reunification to go faster," he told newsmen, while his son nodded when asked if he had missed his father. Since July 2023, Qatar has facilitated the return of dozens of Ukrainian children taken to Russia or occupied territories. Kyiv accuses Moscow of unlawfully deporting over 19,000 Ukrainian children since the full-scale invasion began, allegations that Moscow denies. Russia says that 15 children from 10 families have been reunited with their relatives in Russia, while 87 children from 69 families have been reunited with relatives in Ukraine. Kyiv disputes Moscow's description of the process as a child exchange, emphasizing that Ukraine has not kidnapped or detained Russian children. Still on foreign news, heavy snowfall in South Korea has disrupted flights and ferries and killed at least 3 people. The country grappled with its second day of record snow on Thursday, with the authorities reporting that 3 people had died in Gyeonggi province, where the capital Seoul is located. One person died when a golf practice net loaded with snow collapsed in the city of Yeongtaek, while another was struck by a fallen tree in the city of Yongin, according to the Yonhap news agency. On Wednesday evening, police reported that 11 people were injured in a 53 vehicle pileup on a highway in the central city of Wonju in Gangwon province in the east of the country. It is unclear whether the accident had caused any death. On Thursday, up to 40 cm of snow had piled up in parts of Seoul by 11 a.m., the military ministry said, adding that 157 flights were cancelled and 104 ferry services disrupted. Passengers at Seoul's main airport faced delays of 2 hours on average on Thursday, with 14% of flights delayed and 15% cancelled, it said. At least 13 people have been killed in a landslide in eastern Uganda, but officials fear that the true number of dead is much higher, as at least 40 houses were swept away. The landslides, triggered by heavy rainfall, affected multiple villages in the Bulambuli district, about 280 kilometers from the capital Kampala. The Ugandan Red Cross Society said at least 13 people had died, but newsmen had reported the death toll could be as high as 30 people. A rescue operation is underway, the Ugandan Red Cross Society said on X. Most of the bodies recovered have been of children, according to local newsmen. Dozens of people are still unaccounted for. Heavy rainfall has inundated the East African country for the last few days. On Wednesday, the office of the Prime Minister issued a disaster warning on X. Riverbanks have burst, flooding schools and churches, destroying bridges and isolating communities. The military has been deployed to assist with search and recovery efforts. And finally, on foreign news, rescue workers in western Indonesia have recovered at least 27 bodies from under tons of mud and rocks, all that were swept away in flash floods that hit mountainside villages in Sumatra Island, officials said. Torrential rain in the province since last week had caused flash floods and landslides in 4 different districts. Mud, rocks and trees tumbled down the mountain after the rains tearing through 4 hilly districts in North Sumatra province, washing away houses and destroying farms. Police, soldiers and rescue workers used excavators, farm equipment and their bare hands to sift through the rubble, looking for the dead and missing on Tuesday, and that search is ongoing. Juspri Nadek, disaster chief in Hades Heat Kara district, said the discovery of victims not yet reported missing to authorities remained a possibility. A landslide in a village in Delhi Sadeng on Wednesday killed 7 and injured 20. Hadi Woody, North Sumatra police spokesman, told newsmen. Rescuers were looking for missing people, including those trapped in a minibus and other vehicles on a hilly inter-province road hit by a mudslide, he said, adding he could not give an estimate for the number of affected people. And that's all we have on the foreign news.
Coming your way next, entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News on Galaxy TV. My name is Gratitude Mokwede. Here are the rest of the stories for today.
An exclusive trailer preview event was held yesterday, November 26th, for 3 highly anticipated movies: Thin Line, Summer Rain, and Recall.
It isn't just a film for me. It is my passion. It is a labor of love. I give everything to this film and I'm super duper excited. Like always said, it is the film for the festive season because this film has everything, all elements of a good film, and it's going to be a delight to movie lovers. In Thin Line, you will find action, you will find drama, you will find suspense, you will find everything that would delight the audience. So we have a winner. Yes, we have a winner.
First, I'll say thank you to Auntie Mercy and thank you to Oye for this opportunity to direct this film. This story is super interesting. It's so captivating. The challenges, were there, but with support of Oye and Auntie Mercy, we were able to create a very beautiful film. I think you guys will love it. It is something different for December, and yes, this is the one to watch. So thank you so much.
The event was attended by the producers and other actors on the project. With the release dates just around the corner, these movies promise to deliver action, suspense, and drama.
Listen to the title, Thin Line. It looks very flexible and so simple, but has a very strong meaning because it's all about life. This life that we live is all about the thin line. There's a thin line between life and death, happiness, sadness, yes, no, black, white. It's about the choices that you make. You can either choose to go left or choose to go right. And we can't preach it enough. We're going to keep preaching it, educating it, that the choices that you make can either land you prison or land you freedom.
Exactly. It doesn't rain in summer, right? But so let me just give you a bit of a brief history to how we came about the film. So my best friend, who is the director and co-producer of this film, Adenike Adebayo, she said she has a story that she would like to tell. I said, what, just write it. When you write it, if it's good, I'll produce it and we'll finance it and find people to collaborate with us. And when she wrote it, it was the most beautiful romantic film that I've ever read in my life. It's so intimate, so beautiful, so thoughtful, and it's so pristine. In even the progression of the characters and everything just comes together when you see this film. And when she said, I said, what's the title? She says Submarine. Submarine. I'm like, okay, you guys have to find out why it's called Submarine.
It was daunting. I'm a church boy, so I kind of understand it a bit. But having to play it as a character, I had to go deep down, and try to bring out, certain things. It's a character that has a lot of range and depth. It's an emotional roller coaster, so it was tough, But I mean, like I put my heart into it. I interpreted it in the way I could, and I hope that people enjoy the work.
Yeah, I played the character Tofe. Tofe is one character to look out for certain things, and that's it. Those things I would leave to you to come see in the cinemas. But yeah, it's one to look out for sure.
Working on Thin Line, very, very amazing. It's something that I envisaged from the day I was called on to work with Mercy Aigbe. I mean, I worked with her before. I was on Adam Modadi and a few other projects. But working on Thin Line gave me a lot more time to work with her.
And that will be all on entertainment news. Thank you so much for watching, and keep watching entertainment news on Galaxy TV. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
And that is all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Iribami Stalako. Goodbye.